This one is called the pants. Take 8.
Welcome to Funniest Thing with Daryl and Ed, the best-looking guys on the radio. We all know the funniest things happen when we stop taking ourselves too seriously and step out boldly, like Mr. Magoo blindly stepping onto the next swinging girder and falling into an outrageous jackpot. Your hosts, Daryl and Ed, are about to administer a refreshing dose of laughter and love that will inspire you to step out boldly and experience the funniest things. Now, here are your hosts, Daryl and Ed.
Welcome to Funniest Thing, where each week we share stories about how stepping out boldly always leads to better than expected outcomes.
It sure does.
I'm Daryl.
And I'm Ed.
And we're broadcasting live from Middle School Studios in downtown Culver City, the heart of Screenland.
Oh, boy.
And today's broadcast is titled, If Love and God is Wrong, We Don't Want to Be Right.
That was strong right there. Strong. All right.
Mr. French is shaking his head.
We usually start with like a nice, thin, reedy song like that and then end with some rock and roll at the end of the episode. So if loving God is wrong, we don't want to be right. Anytime we feel stressed or worried, it is because we have forgotten that we are fully supported by a loving God. Being willing to admit that our thoughts are off course is the first step toward bringing back that loving feeling. And this is wonderful because during the second segment, former United States Army Green Beret Sergeant Larry Broughton, CEO of Broughton Hotels, bursts in to read and discuss today's daily word, which is inner peace. Oh, that is wonderful.
Now, are we going to tell your little story and then do the 3 breaths before we get into the readings? I think that would be smart.
How about that quick, should we do the quick Holmesy quote?
Well,
since it's short?
Well,
and then the story?
Okay, I'll do the...
You can do whichever version you like.
Well,
you can tell both, actually.
Okay, there's one Ernest Holmes quote that I really enjoy.
Yes.
And it is very simple and seems to like really get right to the heart of things. And it is, there is a power for good in the universe greater than you are, and you can use it.
Yes, and if this quote actually follows that up well, in which he said, I live in the faith that there is a presence and power greater than I am that nurtures and supports me in ways I could not even imagine. I know that this presence is all-knowing and all-power and is always right where I am.
Yes. And speaking of that power, or tapping into it, to your inner peace, why don't you share that amazing story that just happened yesterday?
That's right. It was perfect because this week's show, one of the things I keep asking myself is in any moment, first of all, I'm paying attention to the way I feel. Am I feeling good or am I feeling bad? And it was yesterday, I had finished some lunch groups and I had a little bit of time and where there's nothing quite on the books for me to be doing. So I took like a small nap, because like a 20-minute, I call it a hobo nap in the car to refresh my brain.
Which anyone could do. It's a great way to reset, hit the reset button, or to start a new day.
Right. And then I had 2 things came up. One, I needed gas, and second, I thought I had this idea. I should go by the district office and just check in. And so because I was already thinking, what I was dumping was the belief that I'm just out here with nothing to do, and like I felt kind of unworthy. I was feeling like whatever, sad sack central, especially that time of day, like 2 or 3 in the afternoon. So, but I had those 2.
Usually when we have to do our show.
Yeah, right. Such as right now. So I drove, got the gas, and then I said, I wasn't sure if I was going to go to the district office, but then I said, you know what, that's the next thing that's, like, it kept going through my mind. I'm going to go there.
Just the next right action.
That's right. So before I pulled up, and one of the things right along with this show, I keep asking myself, what do I really believe about the world around me in any given moment? Do I believe it's friendly and for me, and does it feel good, or am I feeling a little scared and like guarded? So I pulled up across from the district office.
Can I say one thing? Because this is a great one. I read in Louise Hay, and it's a great one for anybody. It goes right along with what you're saying. It's like, what are you thinking at any given moment? Is your general thought, everybody is helpful?
Right.
Or is it
right.
people are out to get me?
Right.
And that's when when I
Right.
shift to everybody's helpful.
Oh my gosh.
Immediately I feel like expansive. I feel
Yes.
I feel good.
That's right.
It like
That's right.
starts that healing process of
that
my
goes-
mind going in the proper direction.
There's a Ponder affirmation, Catherine Ponder, and she says, "I praise my world now. My world is full of charming people who lovingly help me in every way."
I love that too.
Goes right along with that.
Yes.
So I told myself, I'm not going inside there, because one of our ratings from Charles Raymond, I picked up some of the readings for the show, because I said, I'm not going in there. Like, I got the hunch, I'm here, but I want to be feeling inspired when I go in there. So I read a few of the readings, and one of them was about declaring I want to be happy. So I did that, and I was, reading. I started feeling a lift. Then I started watching some stuff on some inspired stuff on YouTube, and somewhere in there, I didn't even realize I got out of my car, and there was a little curb next to me, across from on the other side of the sidewalk. So I sat down on the curb and was watching some inspired talk on YouTube. So, all of this with the intention of going into the district office in an inspired way. Suddenly, in the middle of the video, I look up and there's someone walking towards me. She says, "Hello, are you Ed?"
And it's a beautiful blonde.
Indeed it was. And she said, "You do that podcast with Daryl, don't you?" And I said, so at first I assumed she knew Daryl.
The best looking guys on the radio.
That's right. But so then it turned out that she was Christina Macavina, right? Did
Yeah.
I get the name right?
Well, wait, we gotta let him.
Krista Macavina.
This is the amazing thing.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
was not a friend of mine. Because sometimes Ed will meet, I'll meet someone who'll go, "Hey, are you Daryl?" And I'll go, "Yeah." And then it's usually like, "Oh, yeah, I'm friends with Ed."
Right.
So that's what Ed thought. But this was amazing because this was a fan.
So this was a fan of the show who had actually sent the breaths we're going to do today. We're reprising the breaths that she sent us, these breaths in June of 2014 or 2013. It's called
Was that
for an
long
episode
ago?
called Case
Wow.
Dismissed.
Wow, it seems like yesterday.
Yeah, and it just turned out that she happened to be in town. I'll read a little bit of, because later when she drove away, I connected with her I connected with Krista Macavina on Facebook, who turns out she's from Echo Park. And she said, because I asked her, I said, "What were you doing there?"
It's such a coincidence because if you did anything
Yeah.
differently,
Yeah.
your paths would have. That's what's so amazing.
Yes.
If you just rushed in there and said, "Oh, it's all right, I'll just sign in and get in and out,"
Right.
But instead, because you were taking the time to tap into your inner peace before walking in,
Yeah.
This is the thing. A lot of people discount it. Someone I
Yes.
was talking to today
Yes.
said, "Oh, is today a wee day?" Sent me a
Yeah.
little message, and I said, "Yeah, I did my morning routine, and now I'm already hiking the hill." And they responded, "I was going to meditate this morning, but I got some unexpected calls."
Yeah.
And I thought, for me, I have to put this stuff first.
Yes.
I have to get
I agree.
get realigned with that source, like Ernest Holmes says, that power that's for good in the universe that's greater than I am,
Right.
that I can use. I got to connect with it. And then it's better than expected
Always.
outcomes.
I mean, look at this. I'm sitting here across from the district office, intending to get inspired before I go into work, and a fan comes into town, and she wrote this letter to say, when I asked her, I said, "Daryl and I are blown away." And she said, "Okay, it really is the funniest thing. I'm only in Culver City about 3 to 4 times a year. I live in Echo Park, which is, 40 minutes away?"
Without traffic.
Yeah, my boss and friend Leslie had to speak at the Exchange Club meeting that was held at the Elks Club there in Culver City about the charity for which we work. It says, "Anyway, I went along for moral support, and it was a good time. Afterwards, as we were driving out of town, Leslie saw the Cold Stone and insisted we stop for ice cream, but we had trouble finding parking. We found a spot on a side street, grabbed the ice cream, and were sitting there in the car. I saw you, thought, hey, that looks like Ed. Looked to my left and saw Culver City Unified School District, and having heard you talk about your work, thought, I wonder if. So I had to check. Anyway, meeting you and being able to tell you guys in person how much your podcast inspires me made my day and reminded me that everything is in perfect order. I really didn't have to be there at all today, and the fact that Leslie had to stop for ice cream and was completely out of the blue. I often incorporate your practice of taking a moment to do a gratitude list or just get your head in the right space, and I'm just flat out delighted to stumble into being a part of that today. Yay, a big old funniest thing.
I love this stuff because if any of you did anything differently,
Oh my gosh.
it just goes to show you that divine order is really always it's always there.
That's right. And then it got even better because what was going on, part of what was going on in my mind before this was that my mind was building this case against me. Do I do enough for my job?
Oh, yeah.
Right? It was building that case and building that
Yep.
case. And if, at some point it could be confusing. Is it coming from within me or out there? It starts because it was so loud. But it was definitely a voice within me that was not being very kind to me. So I went inside the district office and I looked up her name. I looked up Krista's name on my email to find out what the breaths were that she had shared, because she had mentioned that she shared breaths with us. And the very breaths were, the judge has left the bench because the case has been dismissed.
And we like that one because we mean the case that we put against ourselves
Yes.
in any moment.
Yeah. Any and all case that appears to be against ourself, or anything other than us being worthy and loving and perfect.
You know why I like it too? Because today's topic is inner peace. And I don't know if any of you, well, hopefully none of you have ever had to stand in front of a judge. But if you have, I know for a fact that when you hear the words, case dismissed, and that's what we're allowing to do ourselves. Like with these 3 breaths, it reminds me, wait a minute. I'm the only one keeping this case going.
That's what a good meditation
that God,
does.
Yeah,
yes.
that God is not the who I'm thinking.
Yes.
God is not. God dismissed this case.
Yes.
I should just now be enjoying my freedom. Go buy a Slurpee at 7-Eleven.
Oh my gosh! You know how much better we are being to ourselves and the people around us when we drop the case against ourselves
Always.
instead of believing that they're out to get us or whatever. Because as soon as we drop it, everyone becomes friendly. It's amazing.
I gotta say this. That's why I was thinking a lot about the word surrender and why it's so good. And it's for this exact reason. A lot of times people hear surrender and they go, oh, I don't want to be a doormat. It has nothing to do with others. Actually, if we surrender with the right sense of what spiritually we mean by surrender, which I'll explain, we can't be a doormat. Because when I surrender,
Yes.
it means I'm surrendering this the need to whip myself into doing what's right.
Yes.
Or or self-imposed.
Well,
you're not doing enough. Or you're going to get in trouble. Or if you're not worrying about this, then that means you're not going to be able to figure out how to get out of it or how to make it work. And then surrender means we let go of that.
Yeah, it's I think we mentioned this in a past episode, but it goes along with the idea we've said before, which is it's like saying surrender your weapons.
Yes.
And to take it a step further, surrender the weapons you're using against yourself.
That was one of our shows.
Yes. So let's do the breath.
Yes.
We got a couple good readings we can get to. Okay, let's take a breath to clear our mind. This feels so good. The judge has left the bench because the case has been dismissed.
The judge has left the bench because the case has been dismissed.
The judge has left the bench because the case has been dismissed.
You know why I like that? Because I feel I could actually see myself like in the courthouse.
Yeah.
And I'm standing in like the defendant's spot, like area table.
Yeah.
And like no one's in there, and the judge just walked out. And I'm all by myself except for the bailiff.
Yeah.
And he's going, "What are you standing here for?"
Right.
The judge has left the bench because the case has been dismissed. And it's funny how even for a minute we're not sure.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I better run out of here.
Right.
But really, it's always like that within ourselves. And like you said, once I let myself off the hook, like that's why this beating ourselves up to do more never works, because then it starts getting thrown out at others.
Exactly.
But when I stop beating myself up and let myself off the hook, I'm naturally more pleasant to everyone.
That's why God has such a good sense of humor, because the big joke of it all is at the end, the only judgment is the one we're holding against ourselves. You want to read the Butterball that Eric Butterworth that you had?
Yeah, this is a really good one. I thought goes along perfectly.
Yeah, this is awesome.
And this is a great way to think about inner peace if you're ever meditating. It's from Life is for Loving, and it's Man's Love Affair with God is the chapter. And it says, keep in mind that this love is not something that comes from you, something that is generated in you and by you. It is an energy force flowing through you from that cosmic center within you and touching and igniting that same energy force within the object or person. Now we can see how the kind of thoughts that reveal an absence of love, fear, hatred, hostility, resentment, anger, frustrate this inner realization and the flow of transcendental love, and cause us to relate to the object or person on a purely surface level that is exterior to this inner point of oneness of love. The need is to turn from the conflict and let the soul banish all that disturbs.
Yes.
And then think of spirit as shining in from all sides while you just relax and be still. Let the emanations of the cosmic point of divine love flow in and through you, lifting you to the feeling of being love, enabling you to think loving thoughts of the other person, and thus relate to that depth of love which is surely within him, no matter how he may have been frustrating it. And this is talking about if you're imagining a conflict with another person, even if indeed there is some real, this will help you alleviate that and transform it.
That's right. It goes. These are the two short readings I read when I was in the car before. It goes perfectly on the heels of what you just read. The first one I read from Man's Victorious Secret. We always say Man's Victorious Spirit by Jack Holland, page 103. It says, happiness is a state of mind. It comes from a feeling of freedom, a feeling of love for those around us, a love for our environment, from a propensity to see good in all. Happiness is purely an internal, inside matter. It comes to us from realizing the good in all, in other people, in all God's creations, in ourselves. It's a state of mind. And then Raymond Charles Barker in The Power of Decision, this is the other reading I read that day, says, it all starts with a depth decision to be happy. Like a deep decision to be happy. State aloud to yourself, and I did this. I have decided to be happy. Do this in a firm voice for at least a week. Follow this by saying, I have a right to be happy. If other people can be happy, then I can be happy. I have the same mind and emotions that they do. I now demand that my subconscious use all of its intelligence to make me happy. State to yourself that you believe happiness to be a spiritual gift and that this gift is already within you. It is there by right of your being alive. The more you affirm the spiritual side of happiness and your spiritual right in having it, the sooner you will have results.
What was that? We were saying it a lot, and it was, here it is. This little affirmation I wrote for myself, and this might be helpful to others. Of course, once I write something down, I always have to read it because then I don't lock it in my memory. But I reminded myself that I don't have to do anything to deserve all the good that I have and receive.
Dude, that is so powerful. I used that in a meeting just yesterday or a couple days ago when my mind was kind of beating myself up about what I did or didn't do with regards to that case. But that right there, I don't have to do anything to deserve all the good that I have and receive. What that does is it puts us into the consciousness of the divine. It gives us the higher perspective, what's already true, like we always talk about.
And it keeps me from the fear that tends to make me feel I need to do something. And when I'm coming from that place, I'm moving away from being connected with God and I'm moving into self.
That's right.
And usually those actions I end up regretting.
It's so true. That's why we said anytime we feel stressed or worried, it's because we've forgotten that we're fully supported by a loving God. If we realize that our only job is to remember that we are supported no matter what the situation, if it's a meeting, if you're in a line at a grocery store, if you're about to call someone about a phone bill, if first we remember that we are fully loved and supported, the outcomes will always reflect that.
Or even like you did, before you're about to go into a situation, if you're having mixed thoughts, get into that, use that simple affirmation.
Yeah.
And then you got so much positive
Oh my gosh.
reflected back to you that by the time you walked into the district, it was like, this is a wonderful life.
Oh, you are not kidding. It truly was amazing. All right, well, coming up next, former United States Army Green Beret Sergeant Larry Broughton, CEO of Broughton Hotels, bursts in to read and discuss today's daily word, inner peace. Thank you for listening to Funniest Thing on Unity Online Radio.
Called the pants.
These dogs are...
These dogs were made for walking.
And they're walking in and out. You better not be peeing on a bed, or I will throw you out.
No, or you're going to have to go drive out to the cleaners.
Yes, because I've been driving. He knows. Look,
Yeah.
he's like, I've been driving your things to the cleaners.
Can the YouTubers see?
Oh yeah.
There they are.
Now you're gonna be able to put that.
That's the crew.
There, do your-
Tell me when to say when.
Oh, I can't
Hey guys.
see. I
Hey!
think that's good.
How are you, sir?
Hello.
Where's your video,
Doing
or are you on
awesome.
the phone?
I'm supposed to be on video.
Do you have the little?
How's that?
Do you see the little button that has the line on the video camera?
Yes.
There you
Oh,
go.
there we go.
How's that?
Now we're gonna see in 2 seconds.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
This is much better than that pale little silhouette that we saw a moment ago.
Oh, it wasn't even a real head.
That suits me though.
Well, no, this is better actually. This is good because you're actually a silhouette too in this.
Yeah, it's a little shadowy,
Oh,
like you're on a
hold
mission
second.
somewhere.
Yeah, it's like you're on some clandestine mission.
That's right. That's right.
It was good to see Barry on Facebook. He looks happy and healthy.
Oh my gosh, he is doing so well. It's amazing.
Fantastic.
It's crazy. You know, this the prayer line has been awesome with him. He looks great. His spirits are up. It's just it's a miracle, you know.
That's amazing.
Oh, we're so happy, man. It was good
Yeah.
to see him. I was like, first I thought it was you, and then I go, oh no, that's Barry.
Yeah. He's doing good. He's doing really well. Thank you.
So you have
All
your
right.
do you have your daily word?
Of course, I've got the large print version.
Oh, like Ed.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
That's the one I use.
Yes.
No extra charge for that either.
No, I still have to use my spectacles though.
Well, that's all right. Join the club.
Make it a large, medium charge. I have my reading
Ah,
glasses
here we come. Are you bringing us back or what?
You're listening to Funniest Thing with Daryl and Ed, the best looking guys on the radio. If you have a question or comment about today's show, or if you'd like to join in the discussion, friend us on Facebook at Funniest Thing with Daryl and Ed, or email us at funniestthing@unityonlineradio.org. Now, back to Funniest Thing.
Welcome back. Today's broadcast is, if loving God is wrong, we don't want to be right.
That's right. That's right. And we were liking the fact that it's loving God. Like, you can have a God that's in your mind that's not so loving, or you can have, like a fear-based God. But we like to go right upstairs to loving God.
Yes.
If loving God is wrong, forget it. We don't want to be right. We're gonna stick with what loving God tells us.
Well, because we were talking about this earlier. I think it was you and I that, like, sometimes we're offered a positive solution to a
Yes.
seemingly sticky mental situation from a friend.
Right?
And we're like, no, I don't know.
Oh, yes.
Like, it's almost like I want to be right more than I want to just be eager and give up and say, you know what, you're right. This is all just my own garbage. You're right. I'm going to meditate. Or you're right. I'm going to put it in my God box. It's like, Ed and I we've been becoming less and less. We have less and less energy to continue being right, and more willingness to just go, you got me. You're right. I'd rather be loving and happy.
That's right, and that's why last week's episode about dumbing down, the only way up is to dummy down, was so
Yes.
important, I guess, for what we talk about for me in my daily life, because a lot of times it's the smartest part of me that has it all figured out that's actually the wrench in my in the gears that's stopping everything from the stick in the spokes. You know?
Yeah.
That's the thing that has to go so that I can actually just flow and cooperate with what the greater good that's actually trying to happen all the time.
Now this is the time where, speaking of the greater good,
The greater good.
we got to thank our listeners. Well, we love hearing from you. We get great emails,
Yes.
comments. We've got tons of mail to read in the third segment of today's show. Gabby the Postal Pitbull is dragging in more and more mail. And a great idea is if you have a friend and who you think might benefit from a couple of the episodes, might be on point.
Yep.
A fun little way to share it is to get one of those inexpensive thumb drives and just load up the MP3s that you think they'd enjoy and give that to them as a gift.
Yes. And it's all available. The easiest way to find anything we do is at darylanded.com. It'll take you to there's a link to go to the Unity website, which is listed online. There's a show script pages. There's a YouTube links. You can watch it on YouTube. You can listen to it on iTunes. And so darylanded.com.
And download them for free.
For free! If you want to send us anything, you can send it now to Funniest Thing, P.O. Box 1312, Culver City, California, 90232. We just like to read that because now we feel like a real show that we used to watch or listen to
That's
when we
right.
were kids with a P.O. Box.
Yes, that's the only reason we got that.
We go by there every day and look through the little tiny window.
They go, oh, look what we got. Another flyer from that Thai restaurant.
Yeah,
We're
we
so
did.
excited.
A new menu from that Chinese restaurant down the road.
And we also like to give a thank you to the man who makes this all possible. He's actually sat through, is it
125 episodes.
125 hours
That's
of
right.
Funniest Thing. And that is our favorite audio file, Jeff Comfort, because each week he takes us right into the comfort zone. Yeah. Wow.
I remember when he used to ride in a freight train
Oh, yeah. He's
back in the early Unity days.
Oh, yeah. Back when Papa
Charlie was around
Yeah.
to regulate.
Well, that's because he's an engineer. Of course he had a train.
Exactly. That's how it all started. Then they went into the new era, and he just
Kept the title.
Slipped right into the new engineer role. Yeah, kept
we
the title.
we'd like to give a shout out to the prayer line, which is 1-800-NOW-PRAY or 800-669-7729. It's been around for 125 years.
Should we do the old jingle? Because Krista
Oh,
Macavina,
that's right. It's
in the
morning we wake up.
Yes.
Before we put on our makeup, we say a little prayer for you.
Yes.
And another thing we love, and that's why we love having our guests for this reason, most of all, is the Daily Word. We love the Daily Word. You can subscribe to the Daily Word through our website at an extremely reduced rate. And that's
Killing me, Daryl.
I know. That's what my accountant keeps saying. At darylanded.com. And they've been around for 90 years. And everything that we suggest here, there's no signing in. There's nothing obligatory. The prayer line is just, they'll pray for you and that's it. They're not going to ask for anything. Other than their sincere desire to help you lift your spirits and get into a higher level, a higher perspective of thinking.
Yes.
And with that, it's a perfect time, speaking of higher levels of thinking, for...
I hope he doesn't bump his head on the way in through the door. He's a tall guy.
Well, he's rappelling down from that chopper. Former Green Beret, Larry Broughton.
Yes.
Hey guys, how are you?
Good. Man.
Great.
Great to see you and hear you.
I heard you guys on the break were talking about Barry, because we had mentioned him on the show and we had sent love and prayer out. I heard you guys were saying he's doing really well.
That's right.
Man, he's doing really well. It's been stunning to see him in the hospital a few months ago, and it scared me. He looked so bad and weak, and that's when Daryl and I were talking, and we got, we practice what we preach, right? We got on the prayer line and started sending them boatloads of prayers. And to see him now he's a grandmaster martial artist and part of the Martial Arts Hall of Fame. To see him back teaching classes.
Oh my goodness.
And this month he's in a movie that's come out. It's an anti-bullying movie, and to see him there, and it's amazing. This is a reminder. This is one of the things that Daryl taught me several years ago. Miracles are still happening all around us.
Yeah.
And this is it. So I just want to thank you guys again for being spiritual leaders.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah. We didn't tell him to say that.
But for your spiritual mentorship, it's gotten me
thank you. We appreciate that. I just want to let our listeners know, if they don't know the story, Larry Broughton has a twin. His name's Barry, and a few episodes back, we actually, I think it was an episode of Prayer for You. Is a prayer for you is a prayer for me. It doesn't really matter which episode it was on. That's just coming to the top of my head. But we actually asked all our listeners, and we asked if they could pray on Barry's behalf. And we love to report back, wonderful stories of positive restoration. And Barry is one of them. I just saw him we brought it up because I just saw his picture on Facebook.
Yes.
Last night, and I couldn't believe it. I thought it was Larry. And it's Barry, and he's
amazing.
like, oh my God, he looks better than ever. And that's the thing. God doesn't just bring you, oh, please, I just don't want to feel sick anymore. No, he'll actually lift you to an even better place than you were previously.
Yeah, a friend of mine we prayed for a couple weeks ago who was my age and has a certain form of cancer that's, can be dicey. And I just saw a post from her. We all prayed for her. I saw a post from her on Facebook today that the tumors are all shrinking, like miraculously responding to the treatment, and all this talk about these miracles is giving me goosebumps. I just wanted to, kind of get me choked up just thinking about your brother, and then what I heard from my friend. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it is beautiful because we get scared in a lot of these situations, right?
Yeah.
When we forget who's really in charge here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, and that's where this whole today's inner peace thing just kind of hit me like a little like a nice kick in the gut this morning, as I was, because Daily Word's part of my morning routine, as well as flashpoints and a variety of other readings. But it was so nice to read about inner peace this morning because, boy, we're all searching for it, right?
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up, because do you hear that, guys listening? The Daily Word is not just for little old ladies. And actually, Denzel Washington came out of the closet and let everyone know that he's been reading the Daily Word for years.
Yes.
And he relies on it every morning. He starts his day with the Daily Word.
I was going to say I also want to say one thing about what you just said, Larry, about the fear part of it, because, when I read about my friend, it was very tempting to make it about me and my fear and my mortality. All this stuff started to come up, and it was very tempting to want to, for some reason, go in that direction. But instead, I don't. Like we said on one episode, I hurled that crap over the fence. So that's not going to help her. That was what I thought of first and foremost. Certainly not going to help me. And so I just I went to the prayer line and I chose not to. And like you said, but it's one thing to choose not to go into fear, but it's we need all these tools to help keep repave or make a new road, a loving, a hopeful road, because it's we're human and our mind starts to pull us in the direction of fear.
Yeah.
And so.
Well, I have found over the years that I get fearful when I isolate. Because all of a sudden I realize I'm doing this by myself, right? And this is why I love the prayer line. I love what you guys are doing, because I believe that God created us for community, to be part of something else, not just ourselves, right? And so just, I still have a tendency when I get stressed out to withdraw, to isolate, still today. And I've been on this journey for a few years now. But I realize it's like, if you're in a 12-step program or something, calling your sponsor or something, that first call is the hardest call to make. So calling on the prayer line, I remember the first time calling that prayer line, I was like, really? I'm going to talk to somebody that doesn't even know me, Yep. But prayer is so flipping powerful. I had no idea. And it almost becomes, I don't want to say an addiction, but it's like I can't wait to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, well, that's healthy. That's actually that's what we quote Jesus about saying, it'll be done unto you as you believe or as you expect.
And then there's another quote from about being in a state of joyful expectancy. Who's
Yes.
that from? James Allen or something that you
Yeah,
like?
James Allen.
Yes.
Yeah.
So speaking of the daily word,
One quick thought before we do the daily word, based on what Larry just said, true, which is so important for me. It's almost like the first indicator when I know that I'm kind of getting off course is that I feel disconnected.
Yes.
Is that I feel isolated, and that is what this show is all about. Because the most important place where that begins is I feel cut off from God, or I feel cut off from
others.
Yeah, but I feel like with relation to this episode, the first, because when I realize I'm connected to a loving source that flows through me, and provides all my needs, from there, then I give love. Once I remember that connection first,
that's the best.
That's why I love relationships like you guys, like the prayer line, that remind me not that I need them or I need you. It's more you remind me that I'm already connected to a loving source that is taking care of all my needs. Once I remember that, it's like I don't have any needs and everything starts flowing.
Now I got one last thing before we let Larry read, because you just reminded me. It's like that great meditation we've read several times on the show, which is the power within blesses all.
Yes.
It's almost when I get afraid, I think, oop, embarrassed, oop, cut off, and all I'm doing is I'm pinching off.
Yeah.
Because we're always an inlet.
Right.
Even Emerson said we're always an inlet. It's ever flowing in, but we can pinch that off. And the key is that's why the prayer line, I get just like you, Larry. I've been calling that thing for years, the prayer line.
Yeah.
But the first time I was, no, this is silly. And I'm like, Daryl, you've done this for years.
Yeah.
But it's just that reluctance to let it flow. Because there's something in a sick way of feeling powerful, of staying cut off. But it's not a healthy. It's a selfish.
And if we want to be of service with anyone in any kind of relationship, whether it's business or whether it's education or whatever, with our family, we have to know where the true source is. Because if we think we're doing it alone, the moment, and it's natural to start to think we're doing it alone and feel like this means we're tired and we need to reconnect. Like what this show's all about today.
Okay, we're gonna let him. Are we gonna let him read now?
Yes.
Okay.
Dude, this is why we love him. He gets us so excited.
I know. We're so hopped up, Larry.
Yes.
We're very up with people around here.
Yes.
All right, are we ready?
Yes, sir.
So I used the large print version of the Daily Word this morning. And so I've got my spectacles on, and here we go. I am at peace in the present moment. At times, I may feel uncertain or anxious about the direction of my life. Am I doing the right thing? Am I accurately interpreting Spirit's guidance? When that happens, I do what brings me peace. I rest in the silence and feel the wholeness of this moment. How relieved that at peace I am right now. I've touched the peace that surpasses all understanding, of which Paul spoke. I am in touch with the truth during my moments in the silence. Right where I am is where I am meant to be. My path is valid and my mission noble. I clearly know the changes I need to make and the right timing of each of them. I have faith in Spirit's ever-present, indwelling guidance. I'm at peace in the present moment. And from Judges 18:6, go in peace. The mission you are on is under the eye of the Lord.
Isn't it funny that we took the breaths of the judges, left the bench,
right.
and the readings from judges? And this just helped me, Larry. And this is another thing, hearing someone else read it other than my own mind read it to me, or even when I read it aloud, I hear things with a much more open heart. And because I have to do a book, I agreed to do a book cover later today, and I was starting to feel like, all this constricted thinking, because I forgot that it's not me, it's the Father within. And hearing you read that, where it got to Spirit's ever-present indwelling guidance, I was like, oh yeah, I don't have to worry about figuring out how to do this book cover. I just need to keep letting go of that thought that I have to figure it out, and know that God's gonna work through me. And now I'm actually feeling enthusiastic about it, and I was actually feeling a little bit overwhelmed about it, like in a hell, like in that, good old fashioned overwhelmed, like I could handle this, but it's gonna be a big job, and that's okay because I'm experienced. But that's still not healthy. It's much healthier to let go of that and know that God will work through me and guide me, and I'll have unexpected and better than expected happy accidents as I'm putting this together.
Yeah, it's so funny. The funniest thing. This is where I've been lately. You know, I still find myself, as I said a little bit earlier, reverting back to the old Larry. And I really have to do what you guys talk about, what a lot of people who are a little bit more enlightened than I am say, is just remind yourself that, yeah, that's who I used to be. That's not who I have to be right now. Because I still get scared. And I was one of those people that I thought that God was a punitive disciplinarian, you know, slapped me in the back of the head and flicking a cigarette butt in my face for screwing up, you know? And but I've had those moments as well about being touched by that peace, you know. And there's been moments where it's just been a vapor, but just that little vapor that was there for a second or a fraction of a second was so powerful. I'm getting goosebumps thinking back to those times when I've had them. But I need to do this stuff every day because it does remind me that my path is valid, you know, and that if I just get in my own head, you know, I think, who the heck are you? Who do you think you are? You know?
Yes.
I like to hear like these stories, Ed, where you get the confirmation you're sitting on a flipping curb along the street.
Yes.
Amazing. You know, those to me are signs that we're on the right path.
Yeah, my week is real. This week, it seemed like I uncovered just one more place in me where I was using self-will rather than the aligning with the divine will and just turning the whole day over. And because of some things that came up that were, like you said, kind of scaring me or whatever, even though they're just meetings or whatever, I've done it a million times for whatever the reason, I had to use that fear as a tool to just turn it all over and just keep, like something you said earlier made me think about, just keep showing up, you know, like just keep showing up and let myself be a vessel for what's going to come through. And I'm always so relieved,
it's always better than expected.
This week was proof of that for me. That experience yesterday with Krista McAvina, that Larry was just talking about, it's just incredible.
Well, and even, you know, next week I'll be going on a cruise with Larry that we've told our listeners about. And one last thing I almost forgot to bring up, when Larry was talking to me about the cruise, and I don't care. I'll expose Larry. He can take it. He's a Green Beret. I'm just a wormy little Coast Guard guy.
That's right.
So I can't hurt him. But Larry talked to me. He said, you know, I had this idea, you know, this number of, I was hoping 20 people would make it. And at the time, it wasn't that close to 20 people signing up. And I could hear Larry's head, because my head does it, going, oh, what did I do this for? This is stupid. Oh, no one really likes me. Who am I kidding?
Right.
And I could hear my mind doing that, so I kind of felt Larry. And then I was just sharing with him, like, the affirmations I tell myself.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? There's going to be an avalanche of people. And, you know, part of me goes, are you sure you should tell them that?
Right.
And I have to go, no, because that's the truth. There's nothing negative in this. And Larry, and the price is so ridiculously low. It's all just pure benefit for the people coming. And it's just a wonderful thing. And there's no strings attached. So I knew it was good. And then I just heard the other day, a week ago, when we had our meeting, there's more than double that number.
Right, that's right.
It's amazing. Amazing. And it had very little to do with me. It's just like, Ed, I had the fear because I felt myself in your head.
Yeah.
And I said, what would Mike Dugan tell me?
Right.
And it's soon, because when I said it, it felt good. So I knew, I said, I'm going to believe this.
Well, it's so funny. When two or more people agree on something, what happens? Man, it's not addition, it's multiplication. It gets exponential. And this is why I want to encourage people, do a morning routine, but don't do it with just yourself. Tap into somebody else who's out there doing it. Because all of a sudden, our eyes are really opened up to the little miracles that happen every day. And I would even encourage people, even if you think this is a bunch of hooey, do it anyway. Go into it as a skeptic.
Yes.
And say, show me.
Yeah.
Show up.
Yep.
And you'll be amazed.
It'll still work.
Dude, Larry Broughton showed up for us big today because we didn't know who was going to be the guest this week because of some technical glitches, and I kept affirming God's keeping the door open for the perfect person
to kick it in,
and you kicked it down and inspired us all.
Awesome.
So thank you.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
And I saw Barry yesterday. I mean, all these coincidences. It's crazy.
Well, here's one last coincidence, and I'll let you go. I'm supposed to actually be in Mexico today, but that trip got canceled.
Perfect.
This is amazing.
See? Telling you.
All right.
Man.
We love you, buddy.
Love you too.
Bye-bye. Coming up after the break, we'll have Joke of the Day, Listener Mailbag, and more. So thank you for listening to Funniest Thing on Unity Online Radio.
This one is called the pants. Take 8.
That was amazing, Larry. Thank you. I'll be talking to you on Friday.
Very good. All right, see you guys. See you.
All right. God bless
Awesome,
you,
man.
Thank
Thanks,
Tell
Jeff.
you we said hello. We love
Will
her
do.
too.
you. All right.
All right, we'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.
That was a great. And all we got is joke and mail now.
I got a little reading I can do right here.
Yeah, knock it. Okay, we got the newsletter from
Oh,
you.
it's a short
From
joke, yeah,
it's
from
a
the
short joke,
Unity Gazette.
and it ends with Ed, you be Jesus. That's the punchline. Ed, you be Jesus.
Daryl saying that.
Daryl.
I'll read the rest of it, right?
Yeah, he's mad. Look at him.
Not mad at us. He's
No, I know what happened. Fart horn.
a little jaundiced from all that fart horn. Oh.
I guess I'm gonna have to draw that picture to show our
It's
YouTubers.
just a gummy candy that he likes to indulge in. If he eats too much of it, it gets a little yellow in the face.
And it's called the fart horn.
I like life.
Life likes me. Life is a eternal spree. Life is fun. Life is good. Life's like wine that I spilt in my hood.
We'll do this one.
Okay. Oh, I got a different one.
I know. Well, there's that one in there, but I think
Yeah, this is
We'll
better.
start
but
with
that's
this.
good.
we'll just do
Yeah, that's good.
that. You'll read, and then we'll end with this one.
Okay. Oh yeah, I got that one.
Because that's the big. That's why. All right.
We're ready.
Have you filled your fart bucket today?
I can't believe we almost did the whole.
Oh my God! Thankfully, he's more astute than we are. when it
How
comes
is he
to-
even awake after
I
8
know.
hours of broadcasting radio shows, one after
That's
the other?
amazing. Especially, how many hot spiritual things can you hear?
We now return to the funniest thing. Here are your hosts, Daryl and Ed, the best looking guys on the radio.
If love and God is wrong, we don't want to be right.
That's sweet, man. That's sweet.
All right, you got a good reading for us.
This
I
one comes
heard.
from Ernest Holmes from the 365 Science of Mind, which was today, September 30th, correct? It says, to think is to create. The mind within us is the mind of God. To affirm the presence of good in our life is to use the power within us for the creation of that good we affirm. We must accept our freedom, to announce our liberty, and proclaim our divine birthright. Whatever we believe to be true about God, we must be declared to be true about ourselves. Knowing that thinking is creative opens the doorway to wisdom and power. That doorway is already within us. The mind of God reveals this truth, that we were born free, and that the will of God for us is one of goodness, truth, and beauty. I rejoice that at last I am awakening to this realization of truth. I have the power to use the mind within me in any good way I see fit. I use my authority to create beauty, peace, and joy.
Born free as the wind blows. Don't we have a joke now?
Well, this one is a little article that was sent to us from the Unity
Gazette.
And
Isn't that free paper that usually ends up deteriorating on your
yeah, the
driveway?
throwaway, like the ones I write for in the area here.
Ed's a humble man, but he is telling the truth.
That's right. This one says, Jeff Comfort was preparing pancakes for his friends Daryl and his younger buddy Ed. The boys began to argue over who would get the first pancake because they're boys, and Jeff Comfort saw the opportunity for a moral lesson. He taught them, if Jesus were sitting here, he would say, let my buddy have the first pancake. I can wait. At that point, Daryl's eyes got really big. Then he turned to his younger friend and said,
Ed, you be Jesus.
yeah.
Gabby, the postal pitbull, what do you have for us today?
Oh my gosh, look at this.
Wait, what is that? In her
Looks like
mouth?
they already opened it up.
Oh.
Look at this. If you're looking on YouTube, you can see what we got here. It's a heart-shaped card that says, Dear Daryl and Ed, a little wisdom for you. Destiny is ours to create. It is a living masterpiece designed by the heart. Nurture your dreams and let what you love grow. Sending you both an abundance of love to fill your hearts and decorate your soul. Open to the riches of your heart and the love that awaits you. A new era anchored in love is emerging.
And that's from Rachel Gallant.
Yeah, we got a nice gift in here.
It's a bucket filled with
Stars with coins
Yes.
attached. Rachel Golan is downright amazing.
Yes, and
creative, enthusiastic.
Oh my God, it's amazing, and we are so
Oh my
appreciative.
gosh.
She sends us donations
Deeply moving and
for our to contribute to the show's production. She sent us a wonderful book that's
a
actually
wonderful book called "Have You Filled a Bucket Today? A Guide to Daily Happiness for Kids."
yeah. Well, this could work for adults. This book, I went through it, and it's positive,
It's about what are you filling your bucket with,
and
right?
how that benefits others.
Yes, and when we fill our bucket with love and appreciation and enthusiasm, then we have plenty to give to others.
It multiplies.
It multiplies.
What else?
Oh, this one right here.
Oh.
Look, that one's remarkably coming off of Facebook.
Oh wow, Gabby, do you want to do this one? Because I think you understand it better.
Well, you'll remember yesterday we noted that Christina Robom from Oakland, California, she posted our 18-day meditation.
That's right, the mini course in miracles, 18 days with Daryl and Ed.
You can find it at darylanded.com.
That's right. It's called Mini Course in Miracles is the tab.
It says, and she said, crappy or happy, my 18-day meditation with these guys starts today. Feeling better already. The funniest thing with Daryl Fazaro and Ed Biagiordi. And then her friend Charlene Williams said, how do I join? Christina Robom said, super easy. They have they have them all on YouTube for free. Just click the link above and for day one and subscribe to their channel. She said, if you want to make finding them easier. She said she loves us. Dorothy Foley Nanny said, listened. Feeling better already. I hope they know you are promoting them. And we wanted to let you know we do know.
That's right. You could sleep tonight. Rest easy, Dorothy. We really know that Christina is promoting us. And
That's right.
Actually, we get so excited if anyone just presses like on something of ours. We're like, wow!
I know, because that's why we have this whole thing here, because then Christina Robom said, they're awesome, huh? Funny, light, quick, easy. And then... dude, this is great. Kate Flores from West Orange, New Jersey.
She chimed into the comment stream.
She said, these guys are the best. You guys bring the art of meditation to regular people. Absolutely love your show. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
That was the best compliment of all, that we bring the art of meditation to regular people.
And that's the way it was brought to us. So nothing could be better, because a lot of times these things are overly complicated and they're made into like almost like some contest and thing. You got to climb a ladder and do all this stuff. And
yes, if you're listening, a good episode where we talk specifically about that is the one with Paulette Pipe. What was the title of that episode?
what was that called? Do you remember?
I wonder if Jeff Comfort. What was the episode with Paulette Pipe? Do you remember the title?
See if we can get that.
Okay,
Well,
in the meantime, I'm going to say what she said.
Oh, yes.
Because she let a lot of our listeners off the hook, something you and I both know, but it's nice to hear from a professional person who actually, she has a show called Touching the Stillness on Unity Online Radio, which is all about meditation, where she takes you through a guided meditation. And she reminded our listeners, don't believe the hype that people think that meditation, you'll hear some people misquoted, that meditation means your mind is blank.
Right.
And Emmett Fox talks about this. Butterworth talks about this. All the great spiritual teachers talk about it. That is simply not even possible.
Yes.
It's all about guiding your thoughts gently into the direction of harmony with God, meaning loving thoughts, uplifting thoughts. So when you hear discordant thoughts, you're able to just say, thank you for bringing that my attention. I know you're just out to look after me, but God will take care of that. Until eventually all the discordant thoughts have no more sway.
That's right.
And you're feeling that peaceful feeling, and that's meditation.
That episode is called Everyone Has a Plan Until They Get Punched in the Face.
Very good title. And ain't that the truth?
And, quick funniest thing before we sing along, which was 2 days ago, I told you I had all that stuff with the meetings going on. This is amazing. I kept blessing it because I was so tempted to stress out and be afraid. I had to keep using it as a time to redirect my mind into believing that I'm loved and worthy. And I walked into the district office. I find a letter from an ed consultant. Usually this means paperwork for me to fill out.
Oh, I thought it was a consultant for you.
Yeah, right. It ended up being that.
An ed
because this guy had a
consultant.
PhD. He was Jesuit trained.
Oh my God, this is awesome.
But the letter was basically from a guy who has gone on to write he wrote a book that was very popular in whatever field he's in as a teacher, and he has a PhD in education. But he was encouraging me to write a book
because he loved your articles.
Because he loved my articles, and the district attorney who prosecuted Charles Manson told him 30 or 40 years ago, "You're a good Italian boy, and you can write. If you ever need my help, let me know." So he offered. Then he was reminded of himself by reading my articles, and was giving me the same nudge that was given to him.
And you're talking about Vince Biglios.
That's right. So he was. He gave me that nudge.
And speaking about nudges,
come on, sing along here.
Okay, let's do it. You got the.
I like life.
Life likes me. Life and I fairly fully agree. Life is fine. Life is good. Especially mine, which is just as it should be. I like pouring the wine, and why not? Life is pleasure I deny not. That's right. Bum, 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 bum. Visit DarylandEd.com for easy links to everything we do, including the Funniest Thing podcast for you on iTunes or our YouTube page.
Yes, Kurt Mouse.
Twitter at Daryl and Ed and the Funniest Thing Facebook page. You can also write us at Funniest Thing, P.O. Box 1312, yes, Culver City, CEA 90232.
Drinking life, that's the thing, makes a man want to suddenly sing and dance, and perchance seeing life from a different stance. When you learn how to live it, life is free of strife. That's why I like life!
Ha ha ha! Ebenezer! Ha ha ha! Ho ho ho! Yeah! Woo!